In today's world, people brag about hustling 24/7, yet burnout, anxiety, and emptiness are at an all-time high. Here's the controversial truth. The harder you chase, the more life slips through your fingers. Modern culture worships control. We track every outcome, micromanage every step, and stress over every detail. But Stoic wisdom flips that idea. Real power comes when you let go, not when you tighten your grip. Society tells you that if you're not constantly grinding, you're falling behind. But what if the opposite is true? What if stillness, patience, and surrender actually attract more success than force ever could? Welcome to StoicCraft, where we translate ancient Stoic philosophy into modern strategies for peace, power, and purpose. If you're tired of chasing life and ready to live with clarity and calm strength, you're in the right place. Have you noticed how the harder you chase something, the further it seems to slip away? You push, you strive, you give everything you have, yet the very thing you want drifts out of reach. But here's the paradox. The moment you stop chasing is often the moment what you desire begins to find its way to you. It's like a magnet. The more you forcefully try to pull, the more it pushes away. But when you let go, the magnet naturally draws what you need toward you without effort. Think of a plant in a garden. You can water it every day, check it constantly, and obsess over its growth, but it won't flourish faster just because you're forcing it. Only when you step back and trust the natural rhythm of growth does the plant thrive. That's the quiet power of surrendering to life's flow. While you're busy forcing and controlling, you always have a choice. Keep exhausting yourself by pushing, or trust that what is meant for you will come at the right time. The moment you stop struggling against life is the moment you open yourself to receive everything you've been chasing, but with ease. So how do you manifest without obsessing? How do you allow life to bring you what you seek without the stress of control? Let's break it down. Detach from the outcome. This is one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life. It's easy to get caught up in the result, landing a dream job, reaching a goal, or building the perfect relationship. We trick ourselves into thinking that if we just focus harder, we can force life to bend to our will. But the truth is, the more you obsess over results, the more resistance you create. When you fixate on outcomes, you build pressure that blocks calm, inspired action. Real power comes from focusing on the process, your daily actions, your effort, and your mindset. Every step should come from the belief that your effort is enough. Even if you don't see immediate results, the moment you obsess over when and how, stress sneaks in, and suddenly you're living in anxiety instead of presence. Detachment isn't apathy, it's wisdom. It's redirecting your focus to what you can control, your choices, your actions, your responses. When you live this way, you move with greater ease, clarity, and confidence. Epictetus captured this perfectly. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens as it should, and you will be happy. Happiness doesn't come from forcing life to match your expectations. It comes from trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. Detachment releases the mental clutter and frees you to enjoy the journey. Take my friend Lily, for example. She was obsessed with reaching a certain career milestone. She poured everything into her work, but the harder she pushed, the more frustrated and exhausted she became. A mentor finally told her, Focus on being your best each day and let the outcome take care of itself. Lily shifted her focus. She stopped obsessing about timelines and instead concentrated on showing up fully each day. Gradually, opportunities started aligning, doors opened naturally, and she achieved what she wanted without the crushing weight of control. So how can you detach? First, focus on your actions and give your best without demanding instant results. Second, release perfectionism, trust that what's meant for you will happen. And third, stay anchored in the present. Don't get lost in the future. Trust the process and timing of life. In the end, detachment allows you to embrace the journey itself, and ironically, that's what brings the very results you once chased so desperately. Master your mindset. Here's another truth. Your thoughts shape your reality. Every day, distractions, fears, and pressures bombard you, but the one thing you truly control is your mindset. When you master your thoughts, you master your experience of life. A calm, focused mind attracts solutions and opportunities, while a scattered, fearful mind keeps you stuck in cycles of frustration. A positive, grounded mindset doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means facing them with clarity and purpose. Life will never be without challenges, but your response defines your experience. A clear mind makes you more creative, resourceful, and open to possibilities. Instead of reacting from fear or stress, you respond with calm strength. This shift lets you see opportunities where others only see obstacles. Marcus Aurelius said it best: "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Think about that. Your happiness doesn't come from your circumstances. It comes from how you interpret them. When you direct your thoughts, you control your perception. And when you control perception, you shape your entire reality. If your mind is filled with negativity, doubt, or worry, success and peace feel impossible. But if your thoughts are grounded in clarity, optimism, and focus, you naturally move closer to the life you want. I remember Rachel, a woman I once knew who struggled constantly with stress. She raced through every day, always overwhelmed by work, consumed by anxiety about the future. One day, Rachel made a decision that shifted everything. Instead of letting stress dictate her actions, she chose to master her mindset. She started practicing mindfulness, taking just a few minutes each day to quiet her mind and reframe her thoughts. Instead of spiraling about everything that could go wrong, she asked herself, "What can I control right now?" Her actions, her responses, her attitude. Little by little, her stress began to fade. Opportunities started to appear where she once saw only obstacles. Challenges that had once felt overwhelming became opportunities to grow, not roadblocks to fear. That's the hidden power of mastering your mindset. When your thoughts are disciplined and calm, life begins to reorganize itself around you. So, how do you actually master your mindset? First, become aware of your thoughts. Most of us go through the day on autopilot, letting negativity creep in without question. Start listening. What's running through your mind, hope or doubt? Second, reframe those thoughts. Instead of telling yourself, "This is too hard," try, "This is a challenge I'm capable of overcoming." The words you choose shape the lens you see life through. Finally, stay grounded in the present. When you anchor yourself to what you can control right now, the future becomes far less overwhelming. At the end of the day, A calm, focused mind is your greatest asset. When you master your thoughts, you master your life. Solutions, opportunities, and peace flow naturally toward you. Your reality is sculpted by the quality of your thoughts, so choose them wisely. Trust in divine timing. Now let's explore one of life's hardest lessons, trusting in divine timing. In today's world where everything is fast food, fast communication, instant gratification, we've been conditioned to expect results instantly. But some things, the things that truly matter, can't be rushed. They need time to develop, to grow, to mature. When you push too hard and rush the process, you don't just cause frustration. You risk missing the very lessons and opportunities meant to shape you along the way. It's in the stillness, in the waiting, where some of the most profound transformations happen. Life often withholds results until you've become the person who can handle them. Epictetus once reminded us, no great thing is created suddenly. Success, wisdom, relationships, even deep personal growth, none of it comes overnight. They require patience, persistence, and faith. You don't need to force the outcome. Your job is to keep showing up, doing the right things, and trusting that what's meant for you will arrive when the time is right. Take Sophie's story. She was obsessed with achieving career success, pushing harder and harder, working long hours, trying to bend life to her timeline. The more she rushed, the more doors closed. Exhaustion turned to frustration, and nothing seemed to work. Finally, she stepped back. Instead of forcing, she focused on growth, improving her skills, building her network, and trusting that life would align when she was ready. Over time, opportunities appeared naturally. Doors opened without resistance, and what once seemed impossible began to flow effortlessly into her life. So how can you trust in divine timing? First, let go of the need to control every detail. Second, focus on your growth rather than obsessing about the outcome. And third, practice patience. The most beautiful parts of life require time. When you surrender to timing, you create space for what's truly yours to arrive. Act with purpose, not desperation. There's a big difference between moving with purpose and scrambling from desperation. Desperation creeps in when you feel like time is running out or when success feels just out of reach. You push harder, scramble faster, and chase results like your life depends on it. But here's the paradox. Desperation doesn't attract success, it repels it. When you act out of fear or urgency, you radiate anxiety. People can sense it. It doesn't inspire trust. It doesn't inspire respect. It only makes others pull back. Success born from desperation is shaky, fragile, and rarely lasts. But when you act with calm, steady purpose, everything changes. Purposeful action is magnetic. People can feel your clarity, your groundedness, your quiet confidence. Purpose doesn't rush, it moves with direction. It doesn't beg, it builds. It doesn't scatter energy, it focuses it. True success doesn't come from frantic force. It comes from consistent steps in the right direction. It's not about outpacing everyone else, it's about walking your own path with clarity and intention. And when you move this way, success flows naturally toward you. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That's the essence of purposeful action. It begins with clarity, knowing who you want to become, the vision you hold, the values that matter, the purpose that fuels you. Once that foundation is set, every action becomes more focused, more aligned, more confident. You stop moving out of desperation and start moving from a place of deep conviction. Take Jack, for example. He was working tirelessly, chasing opportunities, left and right, hoping that if he pushed hard enough, someone would notice. But nothing stuck. No matter what he did, the results just didn't come. Eventually, he realized something crucial. He was acting from desperation, not purpose. He was driven by fear of being overlooked rather than by alignment with what he truly wanted. Once he stepped back, everything changed. Jack got clear on his values, redefined his goals, and began taking intentional, thoughtful steps. Over time, opportunities began to find him, not just any opportunities, but the ones that matched who he was becoming. So how can you act with purpose instead of desperation? First, get crystal clear on who you want to be. Define your values, your vision, and your inner compass. Second, trust the process. Take consistent steps, one at a time, knowing each one is moving you closer to where you want to go. Third, move with quiet confidence. Release the frantic need to rush. Trust that success will arrive in its season when your actions align with your purpose. At the end of the day, purposeful action is what creates long-term success. Desperation scatters your energy. Purpose consolidates it, focuses it, and attracts the right people and opportunities into your life. Move with purpose, not fear, and you'll be amazed how naturally life begins to align in your favor. Let go of control. One of the most liberating truths you can embrace is this: you are not meant to control everything. Yet, in our modern world, we are constantly pulled into the illusion of controlling outcomes, situations, even people. The result? Endless worry. We obsess about the future, about what others will say, about what might go wrong. But here's the truth. All that energy is wasted. You can't control other people's actions, the weather, the economy, or the twists of fate. What you can control is yourself, your mindset, your choices, your responses. The more you focus on trying to micromanage the uncontrollable, the more anxious and exhausted you become. But the moment you shift your energy inward, mastering your own reactions, your own growth, your own peace, you release the weight of the world from your shoulders. Epictetus captured this beautifully. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. True freedom isn't about bending life to your will. It's about releasing the need to control everything and living fully in the space of what you can influence. Think of Anna. She was constantly anxious about her career and how others perceived her. Every day was filled with stress about things she couldn't change, and the more she worried, the less progress she made. One day she chose to shift her mindset. Instead of trying to manage every outcome, she focused on her daily actions, her presence, her intention. Slowly but surely, her anxiety faded. She began to feel peace. Opportunities flowed her way, not because she controlled them, but because she stopped trying to dot. So how can you let go of control? First, focus on what you can actually influence: your thoughts, actions, and responses. Second, release the need for everything to follow your plan. Trust that what's meant for you will arrive in its own time. Third, embrace uncertainty. Life is unpredictable. But that's not a threat, it's what makes growth possible. At the end of the day, true freedom doesn't come from controlling the world, it comes from mastering yourself. Letting go of control lightens the load, clears the mind, and opens the door to peace, growth, and flow. Embody the energy of abundance. One of the most transformative shifts you can make is to embody abundance instead of chasing lack. Too often, we live in a mindset of scarcity, constantly striving for more money, more recognition, more validation. We convince ourselves that happiness is always just one step ahead, one raise away, one achievement out of reach. But here's the paradox. Chasing from scarcity only reinforces the belief that you don't have enough. Abundance is not about how much you own. It's about how much you recognize. When you embody abundance, you stop obsessing over what you lack and start living from the richness of what you already have. Gratitude becomes the foundation, and from that state, more flows naturally into your life because you're no longer blocking it with desperation. This is not wishful thinking. Psychology shows us that people with an abundant mindset are more creative, resilient, and open to opportunities. They see connections instead of competition, possibility instead of limitation. And as the Stoics would remind us, real wealth isn't about possessions, it's about perspective. Here's the truth. Instead of chasing what you think is missing, live as though you already have it. When you carry the energy of abundance, your focus shifts from scarcity to gratitude. Suddenly you stop obsessing over what's not there and start noticing the richness of what already surrounds you. This simple yet profound shift transforms not just your perspective, but the opportunities that flow into your life. Living as if you already possess the abundance you desire changes everything. You begin to act in alignment with that belief. You walk with more confidence, make decisions with greater clarity, and open yourself to possibilities that once felt out of reach. Abundance is no longer something out there you need to chase. It becomes the reality you create from within. Epictetus put it perfectly. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. True wealth isn't measured by what you accumulate, but by how little you need to feel whole. When you embody abundance, you realize you already have the tools, the relationships, and the inner strength to create the life you want. That shift from lack to fullness frees you from the endless chase and allows you to trust that more will always find its way to you. Consider James. For years, he believed fulfillment would come once he earned a certain income, achieved a specific milestone, or gained recognition. But the more he chased, the emptier he felt. One day, he made a simple decision to live as if he already had everything he needed. He practiced gratitude daily for his health, his friendships, his skills, and something remarkable happened. The more he embraced this abundant state, the more opportunities naturally flowed his way. The very things he once chased began arriving without the anxiety, without the desperation. So how do you embody abundance? First, practice gratitude. Focus on what you already have instead of what you lack. Gratitude amplifies abundance. Second, release attachment to outcomes. Trust that what's meant for you will come, and act as though it's already yours. Finally, shift your mindset. Live with the belief that you are already abundant, and watch how reality mirrors that back to you. At the end of the day, true abundance is an inner state. When you stop chasing lack and start living from fullness, you attract everything you desire with far less effort. Embody abundance, and your life will transform. Take aligned action and let go. One of the most powerful practices you can embrace is the balance between taking aligned action and releasing control. Too often, we push, we force, we stress, believing that if we just work harder, worry more, or chase faster, results will come. But here's the paradox. The more you force, the more resistance you create. True success comes from this formula. Take purposeful, aligned action, and then let go of the attachment to how and when the results appear. When your actions are rooted in your values and intentions, you're already walking in the right direction. The only missing ingredient is patience. The universe doesn't work on your schedule. It works on its own. The moment you release control, life begins to flow more naturally. Seneca said it best. Effort and patience will achieve more than force and anxiety. Think about that. Strained effort fueled by desperation creates stress and blocks creativity. But effort combined with patience builds momentum and brings results in their proper time. Grace's story is a clear example. She was trying to grow her business, working endlessly, chasing every opportunity, and worrying constantly. The harder she pushed, the less she gained. A mentor told her, "Do the work you know is right, then let go of the outcome. Trust that what's meant for you will arrive." Grace took the advice. She stopped fixating on results and instead poured herself into doing her work with intention. Within months, opportunities appeared naturally. Success came not from force, but from alignment and trust. So how can you practice this in your own life? First, focus on what you can control. Take actions that align with your values. Second, practice patience. Results take time. Rushing only creates frustration. Finally, release control. Trust that what's meant for you is already moving toward you. At the end of the day, effort plus patience will always outperform force plus anxiety. Take aligned action, let go of the rest, and you'll discover that success has a way of arriving when you least expect it without the exhausting chase. If this message resonates with you, drop a comment below. I choose flow over force. And don't stop here. Dive into the StoicCraft playlist to discover more lessons that will help you protect your mind, sharpen your self-worth, and create a life built on calm power, not chaotic struggle.